We haven't. No, Todd. I've been away for a little bit, and I haven't looked because it makes me ill every time I do it, because I know you are in and out of the state of confusion, right? You're not here all the time.
I live in the state of confusion. That's Washington State.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we've got you beat here. National average for a gallon of gasoline, $2.81.1 here in. Now I'm going to look just because of
I filled up at $3.59 yesterday.
$3.28.5 is the average in Washington.
Yeah.
Now in Taxifornia, we're paying $3.61.1 on average. $3.61.
That's a consumption tax.
Yeah. Well, and if you want to, there's a lot of things we can say about Arkansas, but it's actually the place to go get gas right now.
Really?
Oklahoma and Arkansas both just under $2.52 a gallon.
You know it's bad when we're applauding that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, but I'm looking here, 361.1 in Taxifornia. I'm going to see if I can find out here real quick what we're looking at here in Orange County, 362.5. So we're pretty close to the average for the state. So that's just, it is. Well, I think I've got my friends here. They'll probably tell us it is what it is, and I can't even find it on my board anymore. So
I bought an electronic bicycle.
An electronic bicycle.
500 electrons, I guess. It goes 30 miles.
How quickly does it do that?
Well, with my 275 pounds at about 30 miles an hour.
Well, it goes back to the old dad. You probably remember when they came back out with the Volkswagen Bug. Right, we had them when we were younger. My wife had one of those. They came out with them, and the billboards all said 0 to 60. Yes,
yes.
that was their moniker at the time. But let's see what else we've got. We'll get into in the Mortgage Minute. We'll talk about what's going on in the mortgage market. Very fascinating stories there, because there's a lot going on, a lot of changes going on, and we've seen interest rates going up. But does that have any real bearing on housing? I'm going to chat with you a little bit about that, and I'll give you my take on that in a little bit, but I'm not sure that it's going to matter a whole heck of a lot as to where we're going with the housing market when we're looking at some of these different numbers. What is most important is the issue. But let's look at some of the other news items of the day, and the joke of the day now.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, it's going to be the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Can you imagine that? I mean, talk about anti-political correctness. I mean, that was talk about the joke of the town. I couldn't believe that one. You look at this gal that came on there to do, I'm not exactly sure what she went on there to do, because it certainly wasn't comedy. I think she was paid to be a comedian, but she wasn't funny. Michelle Wolf. I mean, when you're talking about, Todd, I think you and I would probably agree here. I think if we went out there and did a radio show chastising a lady's weight and appearance, do you think we'd get the hook really quick?
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
Secret Service would be like, "Hey, we got something for you out back."
Yeah, and then about a person getting hit by a falling tree. Is that funny? You got to wonder about these things, and maybe the president is right that, maybe the White House Correspondents' Dinner might be on death watch.
Maybe he was giving them a taste of fake news?
Maybe. I don't know. Holy cow, that was unbelievable. But, that's what Washington is nowadays. And I don't know, most people I've come across are not too happy with it, but they keep proving themselves to be less than trustworthy. You almost look at it and you say, who is it that we really want to listen to in Washington? And is there anything we can believe of them? When you hear these stories about a decorated admiral and they come out with unsubstantiated stories and just slander the man? Really? I mean, anybody that gives their life to public service like that, we should be saying thank you instead of throwing out their unsubstantiated issues. Just my opinion. President back in the news also talking about the border wall. I guess he's talking now they may decide to just shut down the country. But he's giving the do-nothing Congress, about 5 months to figure out how they can come up with a legitimate way of spending $17 trillion a year economy, $4 trillion budget, and they can't figure out how to balance that, maybe they ought to try and figure out how to make some sort of a tough decision. Do you get that opportunity in your household? Are you given the ability to just go and say, you know something, I don't want to cut anything, I'll just continue the spending? Doesn't quite work that way, except in Washington, where they don't ever want to make a tough decision. We'll just continue. We'll raise the credit card limit again. How do you like that one? So here's the issue. In Washington, D.C., and only in Washington, D.C., do you get to say, I think I'm going to set my budget, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to increase unilaterally my credit card limits. I'm going to spend them to the max, and I don't have to worry about it because next year I'll just do the same thing again. Really? Is that what we want to emulate? Does anybody get to do that? Well, we're going to check out on that one also. Amazing. Mike Pompeo, he did get confirmed by the Senate, U.S. Secretary of State now, within a couple of days. Now, this is the way you expect our leaders to work, right? And whether you agree with him or not, whether you believe in what he's doing or not, gets installed or sworn in as the Secretary of State one day, and the next day you look at the news and he's in the Middle East working. Now, compare that to the Congress, right? They work maybe 2 days a week. They take Fridays off because, you got to go home for the weekend, and you don't come back till Monday because you had to be home for the weekend. Yet, the Secretary Pompeo, gone. And that was even due before he talks about the idea that he went to North Korea before he was even sworn in. Amazing. And that's what we want from our elected officials, isn't it?
And what's amazing, when I was in government setting, people would actually tell you, if you don't spend the money in your budget, you won't get it next year. If you don't just let it sit there.
So there's no benefit to try and be frugal.
Correct.
Isn't that crazy? Unbelievable. Well, we're going to continue our conversation. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat with Todd Halterman, the art of writing your business plan for life. And sometimes things just don't go as planned. Why home prices are increasing. 5 ways to ease your money stress, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037 and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star is the only one that I know of that has the fast pass loan approval that could save you $10,000 to $50,000 on the purchase of your new home. Give me a call at 800-306-1990. I will chat with you and let you know maybe how that goes, how they do it, how it works for you. It's all, here's the issue, regardless of what anybody tells you. And I just heard this over the weekend. It was a fascinating conversation. Interest rates, do they really matter? When somebody calls and says, and I understand this, that they'll call us and they'll say, hey, Ron, what's the current interest rate today for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage? And I said, well, that's really a kind of an interesting question, because if you go to google.com, you can find out what the interest rate is on a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Anybody that gives you a different number is basically trying to mislead you, unless you've gone through a process with them. Because there are what we call loan level price adjustments. Every loan has a loan level or a series, maybe 30 loan level price adjustments. So if you haven't had a conversation with somebody, you call the big bank on the corner and you say, hey, what's today's rate for a 30-year fixed rate loan? Well, they might tell you 3.5, they might tell you 4, they might tell you 4.5. Whatever the number is, it doesn't matter, because it's not accurate. Because unless they know, what are you using the money for? Is it a purchase? Is it a cash out refinance? Is it a straight refinance? Is it a VA loan? Is it a USDA loan? Is it a purchase money loan, a refi, a cash out refi? What's your credit score? What's your debt to income? What's your front end ratio? Get the point here? If they haven't got all that information from you, all they're doing is going to google.com and giving you a number. So go there. It's easier. Today I look at it, the Fannie Mae 30-year fixed rate, or the 30-year bond, is up 2 basis points. That means interest rates are down a little bit. The 10-year Treasury, down a little bit. The yield on that, that's interest rate on that, is 2.94 as we speak. What is affecting all these? What causes all these numbers? Well, personal consumption expenditures report, the Fed's favored measure of inflation, came out this morning. That report showed that headline inflation was unchanged for the month in March and increased from 1.8% to 2% on a year-over-year basis. The core rate, which takes out food, energy, the things that we really use every day, that rose 0.2% and increased from 1.6 to 1.9 on a year-over-year basis. Pending home sales, which measures signed contracts on existing homes, up 0.4% in March, slightly lower than expectations. Pending home sales are down 3% year-over-year. Why? Because there's nothing to buy. If you're looking to sell something, now is the time. Why is now the time? Well, it's very simple. Because interest rates are up? No, because jobs are plentiful. Why? What do? Is we go out and buy things when we have a job, when we have money. Have you ever noticed when you go to buy a car, do they ever tell you what the price of the car is? Or is the first question is, how much do you want your payment to be? Well, that's by design. If you don't have a job, it doesn't matter what the number is. But if you have a job, you can go out and buy a house. So that's why the inventory is so low. As soon as your house goes on the market, it's sold. That is the Mortgage Minute. If you want more information on this, give me a call at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And once again, we introduce our friend Todd Halterman in the house. Welcome.
Good morning, Ron. Good to see you, buddy.
So we've got a lot to chat about. Last time you were in, if I remember correctly, we were chatting a bit about taxes and how to save money on taxes.
They're building the family corporate structure.
Today, let's talk about a little bit longer planning, because I think you were on, must have been February or March, something like that, and we were getting ready to deal with taxes.
Right.
And I say that sort of tongue-in-cheek because in February, March, April, all we really do is we report.
Correct.
Right? We can't, if you're a financial planner, you've got that background. You can't do a whole lot of planning for my 2017 taxes in March of 2018.
Very limited.
Right?
You really want to do most of your planning before October of the year of the tax situation that you're in.
Absolutely. So let's look at the next step of that then, a life plan. Right? Because right now, if you're like me, if you're a nerd that went to Chapman College and then it became Chapman University, once Jim Doty took over, the school really, really took off.
Right.
And it was very simple as to why the school took off under Jim Doty's tenure is he always had a 1-year, a 5-year, and a 10-year plan, and everybody in the whole university knew what it was.
Right.
Right? So why don't we do that with ourselves, our household?
We spend 60 hours a week working with somebody else or for somebody else and really watching their budgets, their expenses, their process, their workflow. By the time we get home, for us to put a legal review, a tax review, an income review, a risk management review, a budget, and actually communicate with your spouse, then go through the cadre of finding out which investment tools you should be using to support your family life. And let's not forget, how do you want to live? There's a little bit left for you to think that way. So it's really hard for us to work on our business at home. We're too busy working in our business at home, and that's living our life.
So last time you were here, we talked about the family corp. And in almost every business that I know of, every corporation I know of, they work on a budget and a plan.
Correct. So when you're building the 6 pillars of financial empowerment, and that's what we call them, the 6 pillars of financial empowerment are designed to help you understand how to develop your life in a way of how do you want to live. It doesn't matter what kind of investments or insurance or programs that are out there. If you're not making decisions based on how you want to live your life today and tomorrow, then you're not making a real plan. You're making choices, or you're buying products, or you're getting a pitch. So here, it's real clear. The 6 pillars of financial empowerment, Ron, are plan your life. How do you want to live your life? Plan for today and live for today and plan for tomorrow. Second thing you want to do is income. What kind of income will you need to support that life? And of course, we know taxes are voluntary. So if you have an income plan to support your life, you need a tax plan to support your income plan for your life.
Okay.
If you don't have a good tax plan, you're going to need a good legal plan. Right?
Exactly.
So legal planning.
Wesley Snipes found that out.
Oh boy, foreign tax got him. So here's reality. Legal plans are important, but they're not just a will. They can be everything from if you own a business, or let's say you're self-employed, or you have a home business. But you need to plan for your family and your way of life and legal protection, not just your death. Then, of course, risk management's important, Ron. Everybody in the world thinks they're insurance poor, but risk management is more than insurance. It's a transfer of risk. It could be a dollar cost averaging into your 401k. It can be what direction do you go at what time of the day because of traffic. All these things are risk management about planning your life, and it has nothing to do with money necessarily, but the quality of life which you want to live. And last, Ron, but not least, are investments. People go out to the investment world either with need or greed and buy things because they're on sale, or they've been told by somebody, or they think it's a good value. We have to stop buying product, Ron, because it's like prescriptions of medicine. You cannot buy or put an asset in your plan if you don't know how it interacts with the other 5 pillars, and it's really meant to support your life.
That's a fascinating concept. Now, the issue that I have, though, that sounds like a lot of work, and I'm already working 60 hours a week, or 70 or 80 or whatever.
Right, and how much time are you able to put into your family corporation for you? You see, the reality is people deserve to have that attention paid to them, but unfortunately, between children and responsibilities, work, life, you get home, you maybe have 5 hours a week if you're really good at it.
Sure.
So that's how you transfer that risk, and you get somebody that can coach you and counsel you and actually help you write that business plan for you and help you draw it along the way and keep you away from the minefield. That's what a real planner does. A real planner helps you build a life plan so you can live for today and plan for tomorrow.
And that's a fascinating thought, because I hear so many people. I mean, I haven't, as many of you know, I haven't been on broadcasting a lot the last month, and you look at it and you listen to folks, and they're did you buy Amazon before their corporate announcement, or did you sell Facebook before their Zuckerberg or Zuckerman went and testified? Do you really have time to follow all that?
Well, you want to hear the truth about the numbers? The Nobel Peace Prize winners, there's been 2 of them for the modern portfolio theory. Less than 2.1% of average returns are based on timing of security sell and buy.
Say that slowly. I'm a simple guy.
Less than 2% of returns for investors are because they bought or sold at the right time.
Wow.
Asset allocation, according to modern portfolio theory, which has won a couple of Nobel Peace Prizes, is asset allocation does give you your plan and your risk. It is not selection of securities and timing.
Okay, so now for the simple man that I am, explain asset allocation.
Asset allocation theory allows people to diversify their stuff. You've heard the term, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Sure.
So diversification eliminates or reduces downside risk. Well, asset allocation means you're allocating assets across many different industries, sectors, types. You just talked about the 30 different situations for mortgage lending.
Sure.
Asset allocation is the 30 different areas you should be putting your money in tools depending on your life plan. But it's your life plan, it's not your greed or your need.
So you come up with this life plan, and then you say, okay, how do I make that work? And then you say, okay, I want to retire, and I see that a couple of people on that are watching right now, I know are recently retired. So you basically say, okay, in my retirement, I want to be able to live, and I'm going to tell you a number that's going to stagger most people. We've been doing this seminar with our lending folks. Take a wild guess what you need in income to retire. Take a wild guess. You ready for this number? If you don't have something that's going to throw off roughly $400,000 a year, you're going to be in trouble. And I'll tell you where I come up with that number, Todd, because you do this more than I do. We looked at it and we said, okay, what happens if you want to retire on $100,000 a year? Not a massive number in today. That's pretty logical when you think about a 2-income family nowadays, right?
Sure.
So $100,000 a year, say you've got 20 years until retirement.
Sure.
Say 65, say you're 45 right now. The laws of 72, right? So
the rule of 72.
The rule of 72, mm-hmm. Right? So you got to, if you're able to earn 7.2%, which is not going to be done by timing, because you just told me that you can only get 2.1% on timing.
Very, very few people win by timing.
Right? So now we look at that and we say, okay, well, in order to be a $100,000 lifestyle today, that's going to be at retirement, it's going to be $200,000. We're going to be in retirement for probably 25 years.
Now it needs to be $400,000.
So now it needs to be $400,000.
20 years ago, it was the price of a car, it was the price of a house, the price of a gallon of milk or gas. If you aren't planning to double your income during your retirement, it's easy to do the spreadsheet and figure out what you need the day you want to retire, so you know that number. But how are you going to plan to live on your income, protect your assets and your family's way of life, and then double that income over 20 to 25 years so the time value of money does not swallow you up? That's the difficult piece, Ron.
And we're going to get more into that when we come back. You're listening to Ron. I hate to give you some bad news, but we're going to give you, if you remember the principles of Ron Siegel Radio, got to give you a solution if we tell you what the problems are. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why are home prices increasing, and 5 easy ways to easy for me to say, to ease your monetary stress, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with me, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter at Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
In
Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the real-time real estate segment. Being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text Toolkit to 79564 Toolkit. Get the ultimate home finance toolkit, mortgage calculators, home affordability worksheets, and access to real-time interest rates. Why home prices are increasing. I'm going to tell you what the book says, and then I'm going to tell you the real story. Many unsubstantiated theories as to why home values are continuing to increase. From those who are worried that lending standards are again becoming too lenient, data shows this not to be true. To those who are concerned that prices are again approaching boom peaks because of irrational exuberance. Also untrue, as prices are not at peak levels when they're adjusted for inflation. There seems to be no shortage of opinions. Everyone has one, and, well, you know the rest of that. However, the increase in prices is easily explained by the theory of supply and demand. Whenever there is a limited supply of an item that is in high demand, prices increase. Supply and demand always works. It's that simple. In real estate, it takes 6 months' supply of existing saleable inventory to maintain pricing stability. In most housing markets, anything less than 6 months will cause home values to appreciate, and anything more than 7 months will cause home prices to depreciate or drop. So the impact of housing prices is seller's market less than 6 months, neutral market 6 to 7 months, and greater than 7 months, you're in a buyer's market, according to the existing home sales report from the National Association of Realtors. The monthly inventory of homes for sale has been below 6 months for at least 5 years. And now with jobs increasing, it's going to go even quicker because people can afford, they're confident in their ability to make that mortgage payment. So if buyer demand continues to outpace the current supply of existing homes, prices will continue to appreciate or go up. Nothing nefarious is taking place. It's simply the theory of supply and demand. And I'm going to share this with you. Todd, you're going to remember this one as well. It's fascinating when you look at mentality of people, right? In 2000, we had the dot-com bubble, right? Sure. Everybody leading up to that. The funny thing was in
Y2K.
Y2K,
wow.
Right? We all remember the concept, and it probably still holds true. When I was working for Merrill Lynch, we used to know that the sure sign that the market was going to decline or drop significantly when you go to a holiday party and everybody's talking about what stocks and bonds they owned, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when you've got the retail investor who's out there, and more often than not, they're buying on momentum, right?
Everybody's a market expert when the market's up.
Right, exactly. And when the market crashed, right at the dot-com bubble burst, market crashes, and for the next 5-6 years, at any time the market would go up, people would say, well, are we getting to another bubble? Right? And then when the real estate market had this bubble, right, now we're 5 or 6, 7 years, 10 years after that, and we're saying, is the market going to crash again? Well, the dot-com bubble hasn't crashed. It's continued. It's recovered.
Correct.
And I don't know, you might know the statistics. I used to know them, that over any 10-year period, the Dow Jones Industrial Average or the S&P 500 is up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So if you're in it for the short term, you're gambling.
Correct.
You may or may not pick right. You might get red, you might get blue or black or whatever the colors are on the roulette wheel. Sometimes you're going to get green, right? The whole thing's just going to go away.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But over an extended period, I had an accountant tell me in real estate the same thing. Right? Back in the 80s, he said, the biggest mistake you make in California real estate means you might have to hold it another 5 years.
Correct. The liquidity.
Right.
Timing. But you need to know what assets you're putting in your asset allocation so you know how long you need to hold them.
Right, what your risk factor is.
And that's why they build naval ships with compartments. So if one gets a hole in it like the Titanic did, your whole life doesn't go down. And that's part of putting that life plan together and that asset allocation.
And to me, I look at some of these things and I say, so why do people... You're in the financial planning environment, right?
Right.
Just give me a guess. Most I shouldn't say on average. The successful people that are in your industry, how many hours a week are they working?
70 to 80.
70 to 80.
The really good ones.
The really good ones. Well, I don't want to hire someone that's really bad. Right, the guy that's going golfing every day at noon, I don't want to hire him because, when the market's down and I want somebody to hold my hand and give me a little comfort, I want to be able to get a hold of him. Right.
Let's be real. If you're a real financial planner and you're not an investment product salesperson, you're spending at least 40 to 50 hours a week just doing planning, which means budget, spreadsheets, pro formas, going through workflow. You have to do risk management. You have to do investment selection. You have to do insurance reviews. How in the world can you do that for all these families that you take care of if you're going home after 32 hours a week and you're not in the office on Friday because you're golfing? You see, and then you have to see people. That's the office time. Now let's actually visit with people and help them solve their life and family problems.
But let's take it backwards just a little bit, Todd, because one of the things I wanted to get to on that was how many people now think that they can be an expert in the markets in that 5 hours that you told us about last segment that we have after we're done doing our work and our family responsibility and our kid responsibility and our parent responsibility.
And who really puts in 5 hours a week to plan their life?
Right.
Okay.
Right. But I think I can compete with you at 70 hours.
Oh, there's no question. You're a dedicated expert in your field, as am I. But my job every day is to wake up and be a specialist at helping people protect and plan their financial future. When they get up and go to work, they might be working at Northrop Grumman or Boeing, doing something different. But somebody needs to work on their business for and with them, and that's why you want a guide.
And my bet is that you and I can't go to Northrop or Boeing and do nearly as good part-time spare time as they're doing.
Well,
right?
Maybe. No, I'm just kidding. Of course not.
Right? I mean, it's just not. I mean, I don't even know what end of a screwdriver to use.
No, sir. You don't even want me touching that thing.
Right? So, I mean, it's amazing how people think with their financial life that they can do that in their spare time, part time. You're dealing with the next. At some point, if you want to retire. Now, do you want to retire the day before you pass on, or do you want to retire into the golden years and spend 20 or 30 years in retirement? Well, that takes planning.
And it's not the day of retirement. I mean, anybody can look at that number and say, I can be done today. It's understanding how to be done tomorrow, 20 years from now. What's it mean to you and your family? And are you sure you have everything right? And that's what planning is. It's not looking at investments. Investments are a piece of it, but a 1/6 of the piece.
Yeah, and that's a fascinating part. It is because it is just a small component.
Correct. In order for you to get your certified financial planner designation, to have a master's in financial planning, you must go through 6 modules. The first module is why financial planning, what is it, and how is it holistic? And you see, to get your master's in planning, it means that you need to understand all 6 pillars. There's 6 exams for a reason.
And it's fascinating to me because I've talked to some folks who did that. They wanted us to do it when I was at Merrill Lynch back in the dark days. Right? But the concept, and Merrill Lynch's whole focus then, I don't know if it is today, was to protect people from losing their money. Not to help them make money, not to help them plan their financial world. It was to protect them from themselves.
Well, Ron, I mean, we're on ESPN radio. This is defense wins championships. So any pro can win when the game's up. The real pros come to the top when things get tough, and you must have a great defense.
There you know something, that's a great point there, right? I mean, it's easy. If somebody's throwing batting practice, you can hit the ball a long way.
Absolutely.
Except the Angels in the last few days.
Oh, the Yankees did come to town, didn't they?
Yeah. Don't give me that stuff. Oh, no. Right? But I mean, it's it's that defense. I mean, last night they actually had a game because they played defense.
Correct.
Right? There was one bad pitch or the Angels would have won.
Right.
Right? That's the whole thing.
It wasn't 11 runs to 1. Okay.
Right, exactly. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation about the art of writing your business plan for life with Todd Halterman. We'll also talk about 5 ways to ease your money stress. I know one of the biggest ways to ease your money stress, if you've got a plan, but we'll talk about that when we come back. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SiegelLendingTeam.com. BREGELendingteam.com or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Interesting. I think we've got a little bit of technical issues going on here, but we'll look into that one, guys. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the solutions for you. 5 ways to ease your money stress is the topic today. Fascinating where so many areas that we get into. Easing your money stress, number one, starts out with identifying your problems. And in order to solve your financial issues, first, you need to assess your situation realistically. Denial or uncertainty are both big stressors and can have huge effects on your mental state. Determine which habits are causing the problems. Money is so often tied to emotion, and it's important to take a long look at what drives your anxiety. Communicate with your partner. Applicable to marital financial stress, being deliberate in expressing concerns and staying open with your spouse is crucial to alleviating stress. Be strict in budgeting. Once you understand your situation and your approach to your finances, it becomes much more clear where and how you can cut back. And number 5 is save when unexpected expenses do come your way. Car repairs, medical bills, things like that. Having an emergency fund provides extra security and never leaves you feeling unprepared. All these issues, they all boil down to one simple concept, and it is the concept that we've been chatting with Todd Halterman about today. It is planning for life. Isn't your fund, your emergency fund, isn't that just planning, right? I know that my car could break down. I know I could have a medical bill. I know that these things could happen. If I've got money set aside, and I like to, seniors, I talk about 2 years. I don't know what you do, Todd. I talk 2 years in cash or cash equivalents.
I call that sleep at night insurance.
There you go.
It's not smart to have that much money in cash piled up if you're trying to live on interest because of the low interest rate environment. But America, wake up. You need sleep at night insurance, and that's putting plenty of cash on the side to make sure that you can reach it, touch it anytime you need it or want it.
And the whole concept there is you don't live off of that. Every month you're going to put more money into that sleep insurance.
Correct.
Right? So the idea here is if the stock market goes down 3,000 points tomorrow, you don't care.
See, you just described risk management, Ron. Not cash management, risk management.
Right.
Because you want to give yourself enough time to have a compartment that you live off of while the other compartment's got water in it and it's flooding. Well, you got to get the water out, which means you need to wait. And any smart investor with the right asset allocation model is going to understand cash is king.
Now, when you're talking about the asset allocation model, am I mistaken, or is cash liquidity within the investment bucket, so to speak.
Absolutely, cash is a big part of the asset allocation.
Right, so that way if the stock market goes down, you're not selling, you're actually
buying.
Yeah,
when everybody else wants to sell because they're scared, that's when you should buy. If your gut says buy, you should probably sell. If your gut says sell, you should probably buy.
Right, and most people don't do that.
Because it's emotional. Who fires their money? Are you kidding me? It's hard enough to fire a spouse, let alone fire your money. So, of course, you're not going to do it right. That's why people have help, non-emotional help, or they use some kind of modeling system.
You know, again, I hate to always go back. You know, we learn from history, right? So I remember way back in the 90s, I think it was, and Warren Buffett was considered one of the great investors of all time.
Still is.
Yeah, he is. But if you remember, like in the late 90s...
Oh, he was king.
There's a lot of people that were chastising the man, right? Because he didn't understand the dot-com industry, and he didn't invest in it.
Because he didn't understand it.
Right, but he also said... Why would I want to put my money into a stock where they're losing money and all they talk about is clicks or push-throughs or top line and we lose money?
Well, and at that point, he was seeing it as a pop culture issue, not a fundamental business issue.
Right.
And he's a fundamentalist. So railroads, transportation, manufacturing, manufactured homes. Remember, he was buying those plants up left and right, and then Katrina hit. He looked genius then.
Right, but the whole thing was at that time, right? People look, this guy doesn't know what he's doing anymore. He's lost it. He's senile on all these other issues.
He's just a fundamentalist.
5 years later, when he had all that cash on the sidelines and the market had tanked and he was there buying,
right?
But he didn't look so foolish, did he? And right after the mortgage meltdown, who was the one that bought Bank of America stock or the puts at like $6? I don't know what they're at today, right? Looks like a genius again because when everybody else was selling,
right?
And panicking.
Exactly.
He had money. He had liquidity. He didn't have to worry.
That's correct. But again, how often are people at home working on their business, not in their life? So they can sit there and look at 30,000 feet, the right thing to do, and not overreact or be over emotional about your situation. Heck, it's hard enough to save, let alone watch 10% of your savings go away because something's happening in the economy you can't control. That's why a plan is important. But it's 6 pillars, Ron. It's not just investments. It's not just taxes. If you don't pay attention to all 6, your plan is flawed.
And so go quickly, and we don't have a lot of time, but so those that weren't with us in the early segments, give us those 6 again real quick.
6 pillars are plan your life. You have to know how you want to live today and tomorrow so you can understand how to plan for it. Second thing is you need income plan to support it. Then you have to have a tax plan to support your income plan. If you don't have a good tax plan, you're going to need a good legal plan, both while you're alive and when you die. It's not just a will, but simply there are a lot of legal issues to protect yourself while you're alive. Risk management's a tool that you need to pay attention to. And then last but not least is the investment piece. But that's last because how you decide on investments will really be decided upon how your other pillars are being worked and what things you're doing. Just like prescriptions. You don't add prescriptions unless you know what other prescriptions you got already.
And that's, so that's everything kind of intermingles with each other. So it's not just, if I really don't need a good tax plan if I have no income plan, if I have no income.
Right.
If I don't know if I have no family, if I have nothing, I don't have to worry about these things. So they all kind of tie together.
One simple thing, like if you're self-employed professional, I can show you how to have the first $50,000 of income in your return tax-free. I can show you how to build structure for your family so you can actually write off college tuition if you're over the income. But having those 6 pillars is how that happens.
So think about that concept, because right now we know that I think median household income is right around $55,000 or something like that. It's not here in Southern California if you want to have any sort of a lifestyle. Right. But think about this. If Todd just shared with us, he can show you how to get rid of that first $50,000.
Correct.
And then you've got that married couple is $24,000 now is their standard deduction.
I think it's 20. Is it 24?
I think the new law is $24,000, right? And so now we're at $74,000 of income without taxes.
Correct.
Legal. We're not talking about doing anything this is out of the ordinary here.
Straight up, professional people have ways to be able to set up their structure so they can have some tax-free income.
Just a thought there. Now, if you want to pay more taxes, I know that we hear that Bill Gates thinks we should pay more taxes and Warren Buffett thinks we should pay more taxes, but they're doing things like this so they don't have to pay the taxes, right?
Correct. But
and give it away. So they want us to pay more.
Well, if these types of things work for the wealthy, they work for the middle class. The problem is the middle class is so busy working, and they don't hire or have people around them to help them build it or do it. Therefore, they're always reacting. So if you don't want to react, you just have to sit down for maybe an hour a month and really put something together for you and your family that's going to help you be more profitable and retire earlier.
And the idea here, when Todd says an hour a month, that doesn't mean talking to your neighbors for an hour a month. It means sitting down with somebody that's a professional that's doing it all the time. And one of the things we're going to be starting in the next 60 days, be sure you're checking in with us, check in with all of our social media. We'll have a lot of seminars coming up to help with both the financial planning, estate planning, these 6 pillars. Heck, we could even put one on each pillar every other month just to talk about that alone, because there's so much information there. So make sure that you're consistently setting that first radio preset button to come back here to Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house, your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Steve, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.